We're finding out more about the events that are going to happen at the Grammy Museum Mississippi this upcoming weekend. Joining us is one of our favorites, Miss Tricia Walker. She's an award-winning singer-songwriter and one of the original members of Women in the Round. Hi, Tricia.
Hey, Rebecca, how are you today?
I am doing well, and I'm excited about the event that's happening this upcoming weekend there at the Grammy Museum. So many fun things. I know we're starting off with you guys showing the Bluebird the movie with stories on the screen. And I'll have to tell you a funny, Tricia. When I went to Google it to sort of get background, I spent maybe 5 minutes looking at the Shirley Temple movie from the 1940s, thinking, why in the world is this connected to the Grammy Museum? This can't be the right one. Maybe there's another one out there. So I got my movie education for today. So it is not the naughty little girl played by Shirley Temple who dreams she and her brother are sent to a ferry to find the Bluebird of happiness. But there's a lot of happiness in the Bluebird the movie, correct?
Absolutely, it sure is. Well, I'm sorry you went down a different rabbit trail, but yeah, this is the movie about the world-famous Bluebird Cafe, the best songwriting room on the planet up in Nashville, Tennessee, and all of the ladies that are coming down to be part of this. The Bluebird Cafe was a very important part of our lives, and so we want everybody to come watch this movie and join the afterwards.
So the trailer starts for the right movie with a musician saying that there isn't an artist, at least I think in country music, that he knows that doesn't have a story, a Bluebird story. So I'm curious, Tricia, do you have a Bluebird story?
Oh, I have many Bluebird stories. They all have a common thread through them, but one night in particular, we did this Women in the Round. Of course, the original Women in the Round were myself, Karen Staley, who wrote Keeper of the Stars. It was an ACM Song of the Year. Ashley Cleveland, who has won 3 Grammys. Pam Tillis, of course. Everybody knows Pam, although she's not going to be able to join us this time. But we found a very suitable substitute in Kathy Mattea, who's going to come join us. And, just sitting in the round with those women. But one night we decided to dress up in full evening gowns and long gloves, and we called it Prom Night in the Round. And it was probably one of the most hilarious nights I've ever been a part of.
So when you talk about in the round, because I know one of the events that's coming up is the fact that you all are getting back together, the original Women in the Round, and you're performing the Bluebird Cafe style, in quotes. What does that mean? What does it mean playing in the style that you would there at the cafe?
Yeah, in the round, it was a concept that was sort of formalized at the Bluebird. It really just means songwriters sitting in a circle, going around the circle, playing their songs and telling stories. And so that's what an in the round performance is. And it just lends more intimacy to an event, and we really get to perform for each other as well as for the audience. So that's what an in the round is, and that became most popular at the Bluebird Cafe.
So the screening of the movie Bluebird, when does that happen? Is it on Sunday?
It's on Sunday afternoon at 2:30. Tickets are $20, and we'll screen the movie. We'll have some popcorn, and then the Women in the Round and the founder of the Bluebird Cafe, a wonderful lady named Amy Curlin, she is going to actually be with us too, and we'll have about a 45-minute discussion after the film about the Bluebird Cafe, and we'll tell some stories that were not in the movie and interact with the audience. So that'll be Sunday afternoon, April the 18th at 2:30 at the museum here in Cleveland.
Now, if you actually watch the trailer for Bluebird, the documentary, you'll see that, because in your mind's eye, when you think about this, it sounds like a real sexy and soulful place where people are getting together and the greatest music's coming out of, and, this good times are being had, and all the legends left there, and became legends after they left or stopped through the Bluebird Cafe. And then you realize it's really not what you would expect. I mean, it's in a, like a little strip mall there in Nashville, and it's not where you would place it. So how does that sort of help with the magic of the place, but then also, with the history of it as well?
Well, you're right. It's very, very unassuming. It is in a little strip mall. It only seats about probably 85, maybe 90 people max, and it's very unassuming. So I would think for songwriters who are just beginning to play the Bluebird, you would think it's pretty comfortable, but there's also you're pretty exposed to the audience. You know, when you do a songwriters round, typically it's just the songwriter playing his or her guitar or piano. There's no band, there's no big stage lights and all that sort of stuff. So it really, really is about the songwriter and the song. And that's one thing that Amy, when she founded the Bluebird, really wanted to focus on songwriters and how important they are to the music business. You know, I always tell my students back at Delta State, you know, nothing happens in the music business until a songwriter writes a song. No videos, no concerts, no tours. You got to have a song first, and that's one of the things that the Bluebird really celebrates.
Do you remember your first experience playing at the Bluebird, Tricia?
You know, I probably played once or twice before we did Women in the Round, but I do remember the first night we did Women in the Round, which was in 1988. So we've been doing this over 30 years now, and it was just, particularly with this group of women, we just, from day one, we just had so much fun. You know, it really is like sitting in your living room, just kind of with a little living room concert. There's no real formality to it, and I thought, this is magical. This is just absolutely magical. So anytime I get to go play at the Bluebird, it's a treat. It really is a community that's become very important to me.
And the last thing I referenced to watching the trailer for the Bluebird documentary, which you'll get the opportunity to see there at the Grammy Museum coming up this Sunday night, April the 18th, starting, or this afternoon, 2:30 p.m. on Sunday, April the 18th, is they reference this wasn't a shushing business, that you could come there and not get shushed at the Bluebird Cafe. And I thought, what does that mean? Do you get shushed in other areas in Nashville? Explain that to me.
Well, the shushing thing is actually a Bluebird tradition. You know, most of the time when you go in a bar, you go, people are making noise and talking, but at the Bluebird, you're supposed to be quiet. And so Amy herself, you know, she would come out and shush people. And they actually have T-shirts now that say shh on the front of them, because you're supposed to be quiet and listen to the songwriter. So you do get shushed at the Bluebird, and that's a good thing, so that you can hear your songs. And hopefully on Monday night when we do our Women in the Round event, which is the companion to the movie screening, we may have to do a little shushing to the audience to make sure they can hear the songs that are being played.
Okay, I got it backwards. So shushing is a good thing.
Yeah. Shushing is a good thing, yes.
Shushing is a good thing, and it sounds like these two events back-to-back, Sunday at 2:30 and then Monday night, is going to be a special treat for all of us. And, you know, we are all about visiting Mississippi, so we want folks to come out and enjoy the in-person events that are happening now at the Grammy Museum Mississippi. So will we sort of get the whole Bluebird Cafe experience as much as possible can be replicated, you know, within those two events?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, because it really is about a very intimate, authentic performance. It's us telling stories. We'll be so happy to see each other because we don't get to see each other on a regular basis, and it's almost like just coming home again. And this will be the first public face-to-face program that we've done at the museum since the pandemic, and so I know everybody's ready to get out and get in their car and travel, so we hope people come on up on Sunday afternoon, spend the night, stay for the Monday night event, which is a fundraiser for the museum. And the four of us, Kathy Mattea, myself, Ashley Cleveland, and Karen Staley, we'll be doing 2 hours worth of our original music, songs that you've heard on the radio, songs that you may not have heard on the radio, but they're never the same as when you hear them when the songwriter does their own song. So we hope everybody will come on up. And you can get tickets. Yeah. I'll tell you where you can get tickets. Come on, get this in real quick. It's Grammy Museum MS.org.
Well, I was going to ask and make sure, are they limited, or can we get them at the door, or do we have to get them before?
You know, you can take a chance. There will be a limited number. We have a limited amount of seating, and last I checked, we were probably about 3/4 full. So I wouldn't take too much of a chance. I'd go ahead and get online and reserve a ticket, and if you don't use it, maybe you can pass it along to someone else. But GrammyMuseumMS.org is where you get those tickets, and there won't be a lineup like this again. It'll probably be a stretch to get these four women together again down the road. So this will be a once-in-a-lifetime event.
All righty. Well, I'm sure it will be, and it's going to be good. So we want you to go get your tickets, go support Tricia. We also got a text, Tricia, that someone's granddaughter played at the Bluebird Cafe back in August the 4th. I think her name was Brooke August. So lots of potential coming out of Mississippi there at the Bluebird Cafe still. So many good things. And shushing is a good thing, right?
Shushing is a good thing. You need to be quiet and listen to what the songwriter has to say or sing. So don't be offended if you get shushed. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. I'm going to